Moving ahead with fire, fire represents absolutely heat, light. So symbolically, it is power, it is vitality, it is the transformation. So we actually do consider all these things. If we do not have fire in life, what will happen? So just giving a thought. So if we do not have fire in life, what might happen? S- It it directly says to me that our life is in danger. We cannot survive. As simple as that. And that is how the major thing which we have to keep in mind is southeast, which is Agneya. Agneya itself is giving the symbolically representation of Agni, has to be placed in southeast. And that directly means that you can play within south to east, but more towards east, not to south. So southeast is the proper direction to get in fire as an element. So sometimes even if these contractors these days, they are making the buildings and they're getting in the many buildings, they will blindly put your kitchen into southeast. Okay. So they will blindly, that they know. And then they understand that eventually the things will fall in place according to the directions. Okay. So any fire related element that has to go in southeast. Okay. And then you will understand the energy flow. You will understand that many a times then if I talk about the commercial spaces, no, so we suggest that your transformers or your anything which is giving you the power supply on a bigger scale has to be put in the southeast of the commercial space. So if it is an industry, if it is a space like any hospital or any mall or something like that, any commercial space for that matter, we try and put their big generators, their big transformers, all those elements who are giving to give you the energy has to be put into southeast. Okay. So I think if we are good with the energy, we are ambitious. We are ambitious, we are successful, isn't it? And we are the moment we are successful, we are financially strong. Okay. So many a times we have a kitchen. If you go to north or northeast or something like that, wherein you have temperature reduced, you might have fireplaces. Those should be planned in the southeast direction, satisfying the element fire Agni. Moving ahead with the element called air or Vayu. Air symbolizes again joy. Air symbolizes freedom. It promotes creativity. Because if you are into in some space of your favorite corner of the house, you are there because you are satisfied with all these things, isn't it? So where the air is coming from, where you feel fresh, where you are in yourself, you try to be with yourself. So all these things can fall in place properly when you are in a ventilated zone, isn't it? So northwest is Vayavya. Vayavya is the direction for the element air, Vayu, and it is very much connected to your planning of the movements, or planning of having the activity area around, or maybe sometimes we use Vayavya mostly for storage of our grains and everything. So it has been believed that if you do storage of grain there, over there, it prospers us. It is not going to कि घर में राशन जल्दी खत्म हो गया ऐसा कई बार नहीं बोलते. It had some mythological aspects also, but then we try and put all our storages and many things on Vayavya, which is northwest. So as I said that if you properly plan all those things, you properly plan the circulation, you get the proper ventilation, you get proper airflow, and the zone is completely good for your good mental and his physical health, and you have absolutely good relationships with everybody around you. So this is like the moment you have good relationships, you have communication, you yourself can build in your intelligence and absolutely feel freedom. Your intellectual growth can be seen if you are in a proper area and a proper zone where you feel ventilated. So many a times it has been suggested that Vayavya is the direction of Vayu, which is air. So we should put our windows or more openings or more punctures, whatever you are designing, maybe the residences or the commercial spaces, anything. So this is the zone wherein you should get into the air in, and absolutely the source of positive energy again. Okay, so I think I'm clear with air. So moving ahead with space, space is infinite. You have space. The moment you see Akash, or the moment you see sky, sky is beautiful. As we also have this saying, sky is the limit, because it is limitless. Sky is limitless. It is infinite. You have a lot of scope. You have a lot of hopes from yourself, and the moment you see sky again, you feel like you have done something which you can be proud of. So that is how you should govern some space in the planning of any of the build space or anything, wherein this is being allowed as the Brahmasthana. Now this has no direction, because Brahmasthana is the central space, as I said before, the Vada concept. So we have Pochad into the center of the space, and this center of the space is called as Brahmasthana. Brahmasthan cannot be heavy at any moment. The moment you find any heaviness, or the Brahmasthana is being occupied some or the other way by the structural element called column. You might know columns and beams. So in the structure, so if in case you get this column as a heavy structure at the Brahmasthana, you end up with problems in the space. This is going to get automatically being done, because you then not get the openness into it, and the openness will fall in place the only when you have this space clear. Okay, so we just try not to get these. We plot the center of the space we have, and we try to keep that Brahmasthana as free as we can make it. Okay, so this being our last element called space, Akash. The moment this Brahmasthana is particularly uh, made the way it has to be, then you will be in a healthy space for sure. Be it residence, be it commercial space, be you anywhere. The moment you find this open space in and around, you are in a good environment for sure. Now, we have seen the directions. So, what I talk about is majorly the subdirections, which was northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. The major directions are north, south, east, and west. North के right में east आता है by default, so you have to understand that, and all those elements we talked about. So now sometimes we get the plot properly as north as a direction, but many of the times your plot has been done, or the plotting has been done with the subdirections. So maybe your plot is facing northeast. Okay, so क्या होता है that you understood by now. So fewer are the degrees wherein we do change the orientation of our furniture or something like that. So there is just an example that sleeping position. Now, how to keep your sleeping position? So it has been said from the ancestors that you should not face, the legs should not face south, isn't it? And your head should not go towards north. So there are many reasons, because we are into the gravity. We are in the zone of gravity. We are in the zone of our north pole is up side. So the moment I sleep like that, that my head is in the north and my legs are facing towards south, I might find blood circulation problems, and then I might go wrong with my health. And that is how, again, it is been said and it is been suggested that you always put your head towards south. So anti-gravity and gravity makes a major role when we play around with this direction. And sleep is why I have taken the example of sleeping as an activity in Vastu. So it is the major activity, because you all your active hours you are doing some of the other work, you are busy, you are engaged yourself in some of the other work, your cognitive space is already engaged with something. The only thing which you need to get, again energetic, is the healthy sleep. And it is not like you just slept somewhere, it has to be properly done. If you sleep peacefully, then and only then your another or your coming active hours will be more productive, isn't it? So that is how I've taken. So this is like, all these directions which you see now, directions and the sub directions are allowed for that matter, but north में आपका सिर जाना is completely not suggested. Okay. Now I'll just quickly tell you about Vastupurush, what exactly Vastupurush is, because it goes with the Panchamahabhutas and it goes with the directions. So this particular image, what you see on your left, is Vastupurush, and the Vastupurush is a grid. Actually, it has its own history. Again, it's a different topic to talk about, but it has been depicted that this Vastupurush ka grid has almost 45 gods into it. So what you see is the inside they are 13 god, and outside they are 32 gods. Okay, so these all are the gods who allows us with respect to their directions to plane with respect to how you satisfy the direction, and then you get the prosperity which you are looking for, the healthy life you are looking for, and you how can you be physically fit. Okay, so with respect to the cosmos, with respect to the directions which are naturally there, we are putting in our architectural planning. So we need to, overlap these things and understand. Now, if you see here, your kitchen is in south, and the dining is towards more of east. So it has been designed towards southeast, which is allowed. Your northwest and northeast has all your bedrooms, and drawing and the living is being planned towards the center. And you see they have hardly planned any column or any heavy structure in the center of the space. So that is how we have allowance with respect to the directions, with respect to the Panchamahabhutas and the owner of the direction, which are the gods. Okay.